3 days old. It's pretty stale and it gets lost in your feed when you have a lot of subscriptions, a lot of channels you're subscribed to.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, now I have to go back because I'm subscribed to so many channels. I have to like scroll back so far to find videos I've missed. And I know I can't catch them all because there's always new ones added because I'm subscribed to a lot of people. And yeah, I'm way behind on watching videos. I've watched parts of some. I haven't commented on most. So, I mean, I'm way behind. I haven't even made a video in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I usually miss your. I like to catch your Monday videos. That's how I know it's Monday. Is when
Yeah, I didn't get to do one this Monday. I don't think I did one last Monday either. I'll do one tomorrow, though, for sure.
Did ETA Nick end up doing the Golden Age books from the Heritage auction?
He did a Heritage recap, and I didn't do a Heritage recap. And I started to do a Comic Connect preview, which is now ongoing. And I haven't done that. So I was going to do a Comic Link and a Comic Connect current auctions for Golden Age stuff and a Heritage recap. And I haven't done any of that. And I still have a couple videos of stuff I want to do here. I want to do an LB Cole video. I want to show off my full run of Charlton's The Thing. And then I've got some new pickups I haven't shown. And then I got another book coming tomorrow. So, I mean, I'm behind on watching, commenting, and making. So.
Nice. Well, let's start off by saying welcome to everyone in the chat. My chat is always a little bit delayed, so I don't know who's in there yet or what's going on, but welcome to the No Faces comic chat. Tonight we are the X-sized giant men. You're welcome. So I know everyone really loves all the names that we put up there. I say everyone, I mean me. So
well, I like this one. I'm usually not a huge fan of them. Sometimes there's a little too much alliteration, but this one was very clever. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, sweet.
Really, really good name for tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah. You kind of did the old switcheroo on a bronze key, and that's cool. And it relates to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, today was actually, I'd put you in the A category this week.
Oh my gosh. You guys, I don't know how to. All right, that's all for the No Faces comic chat. We thank you all. It's been the perfect night. Let's see who we got so far. We got Simon Comics is here. Hey, Simon Comics. We got Bad Dad. We got Rayman the Silencer Man. We got Deadpoolio the Awesome. We have Deadpool 2323. Wow. Area 51 Mike's here. We're rocking and rolling already, guys.
Wow. I love that name. Deadpoolio the Awesome. That's super cool.
That is a good one. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Welcome, Deadpoolio. I don't think we've had you here before.
He's popped in and out a couple of times, but I don't think he stays the whole time. Most times.
Simon was the first one here, and Roger, I was telling you before we came on that I started watching your video for his subscriber contest video you're doing. Right. I got through enough of it that I heard the kind words you said about him and his channel. I totally agree, and he's always like the first or second one in our chats. He's here all the time, and I try to catch a lot of other live chats. I always see him participating. So
yeah,
really glad you're with us, Simon. And yeah, anybody who's into the Golden Age stuff gets a nod in my book.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. He's got a fantastic collection. I like his setup too. The way he's got it all in that corner. Yeah. And it's all lined, book on top of book. It's really awesome looking. I love his setup.
It's like a cubby corner. He's got it there. And it's like Simon, Kirby. He's got those Golden Agers. He's got the Harveys, the prizes. I mean, oh man, he's really something. He really is. Here it is. The Simon appreciation chat.
Yay! Why not? He was first. He deserves it.
That's right. Yeah, thank you, Deadpool 2323. He says he hopes everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving. We're all here, so I'm assuming we survived the food poisoning and so forth. So, good job there. Yeah,
it was pretty good. I did a little hunting over the Thanksgiving weekend. The wife and I took a little personal vacation. The boy was off to family, so we trucked on out of town and did the whole Black Friday thing, even though we didn't really shop for much, but just kind of got out there and got to be seen in public. And then
Well,
we had a good time doing that. And we did that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We came back Sunday afternoon. So we had a good time doing all that. Got to hit a couple of shops and hit their Black Friday sales. Picked up, I don't know, not many, maybe 20 books or so at the most.
nice.
Yeah, so it was good. Nothing major, nothing keys as far as the shops go. I got a couple of good books on the way, but we'll just hope that they all show up, and when they do, we'll talk about them.
Let's not hex the thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, the ones I'm showing actually tonight. I'm going to show the ones I picked up on the Black. Actually, it was a Small Business Saturday sale at the LCS.
Nice.
Yeah, it was like an extension of the Black Friday.
I
I'm
like
sure
that.
Deadpool 23 was there too, but I didn't see him on Saturday.
Yeah, and there's a whole Cyber Monday week going on now that I think
Yeah.
lasts until Christmas Eve. So,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this Cyber Monday. What is that? It's like a few years ago they started doing that, and I feel like the deals on Black Friday is sort of legit deals. They're really, I mean, there's people lined up outside GameStops to get like super cheap video game systems. There was a lot of good deals online for some comic book shops, and I picked something up. But then Cyber Monday, I'm getting all these emails and online places. It doesn't seem like they're really offering deals for Cyber Monday. I don't know. It seems a bit of a scam to me compared to Black Friday.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you pick and choose, there might be a few, hidden deals, like sort of lost leader stuff.
Yeah.
They'll have a few good ones, and then they'll run out of inventory, and then by the way, this is the rest of our stuff. So
I'll tell you though, for anybody who likes to shop for comic books online, which would probably be just about everybody in the chat except maybe Roger, except maybe you, but Dave and Adam's Card World. They have a really good website. I picked up something from them on Black Friday. They're not paying me for this plug, just so everybody knows. But if you're shopping for comic books,
which plug are they paying you for?
No, I got a super cool pre-code horror book from them that I should get tomorrow, and it was a Black Friday price. It was already cheap, and they slashed the price even more, so I jumped on it, and I feel like I got an excellent deal on that. I always check out their website. It's an awesome website, and they always have good books. They're at a lot of major cons. Really, really good comic book seller. So if anybody's not familiar with them, that's a good resource to add. They usually get a lot of good stuff.
Cool. That's awesome. And in keeping with our no bad mojo or whatever, what do you call it, Roger? When we when we don't want to speak ill of we don't want to speak of the purchase just in case.
We don't want to hex anything.
Yeah, we don't want to hex it. So to keep with the no hex, you can say anything you want about it, but until you're holding it, don't call it by name. It's all
right. That's bad. That's bad juju.
Bad juju. I picked up a book last night, or I paid for a book last night that I'm hoping should be here maybe tomorrow or even the next day because it was shipped priority 3 days. So I'll probably get it Thursday. Would be my guess. Tracking to my little neck of the woods always says 4 days for a 3-day package, and overnight says 5 to 7 days. So, yeah, it's always bad. It always says that, but usually you end up getting a little better than that. So I think I'll end up with it on Thursday. That's what I'm hoping for. And then, it's a big book for me, especially. It's on my want list. So very, very happy. And I bought it from a fellow YouTuber. So that's pretty cool too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, keep it in the community then. It didn't leave the YouTube community.
Yeah, after I get it in hand, I'm going to ask him the pedigree on it all. And say, all right, how did you pick this up? Where'd you get it? Did you have it pressed first? All that kind of good stuff.
Deadpoolio says we're the Hexmen. Very clever.
Oh, the Hex.
I like Deadpoolio already. I'm sorry, I know nothing about him. I like him. I just got that vibe, I just like him. I can't help it.
Oh, we get worried when Roger gets the vibes. Those are contagious.
Well, at my age, you should worry when you get the vibes. Let me tell you right off the bat. That does not lead to positive conclusions, if you know what I mean.
Everything was shaking earlier, so we're worried about you now.
Right. This is the second stage of, the end stage.
Love it. This was one of my Black Friday pickups. Look at that little mean guy. I think that's one of the guy, the mole man creature, right? Wasn't the
Oh,
mole
from
man?
FF1.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's a mole
okay. I
man?
thought he was supposed to be greener. I thought he was
No,
supposed
the
to be
mole
greener.
man is like he's supposed to be on
No,
here.
that's
It's like a
yeah, that's the monster that the mole man conjured to battle the FF in FF1.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I thought he was like green.
The figures on the bottom are with it, right? You didn't add those. That's part of the statue.
Yeah, it's with it, and it has some motion, not much. Only the hands, only arms move. So it's incomplete. It's it wouldn't pass
You're
your
missing Sue
standards.
Storm and the Human Torch there, right?
Yeah, we're missing, and there's a mole man that comes like so. The mole man's like on the corner there, and there's another piece, and then like the Johnny Storm is here, and he loops around his back, and then comes up here and is like flying up here, like all in a fire ring, and then Sue is actually supposed to be in his hand, and you can see what's left of her hands trying to hold his fingers apart, so you can see those. So that's what's going on there. So I've been trying to figure out how I can kind of complete it, and I'm glad Area 51 is in the chat. Hopefully he's still there. He's still with us. So what I like about him is I'm thinking about kind of completing it. If you've ever seen any of his videos where he takes he'll buy like in secondhand stores and thrift stores and stuff. I think Value Village is one he's got in his area. And he'll pick up dioramas that are either damaged or incomplete. And then he fixes them, recompletes them, paints them, does the whole 9 yards. So I think this is going to be my first project. I'm not sure who I'm going to put in there, but all day I've been trying to find in between hard work, of course, I've been trying to find figures that scale to the same size. Because if that's the thing's not hugely tall, but he's also, pretty broad. So, and you can't really gauge it by Mr. Fantastic because of course he's all stretched out. So, but I think like the Hero Clicks, those little, if you guys are familiar with those toys, or I think it's a game actually. I've never played it, but it's like a little statue figure, and it sits on top of a base, and then the base has powers, and there's cards, and you move on a map. I really don't know anything about it. It's some kind of role-playing game, but I know that my LCS has a bunch of them, and they're usually like $1 a piece. So I think they'll be about the right size to attach here. I'm going to put a figure there and a figure here and try and get a Sue Storm and a Johnny Storm in there and kind of complete it. So
I think Sue Storm should be in his left hand, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Sue Storm should be here, or I could just say she's there and she can't.
Yeah, she's invisible.
Yeah, she's invisible.
There you go.
So
that's
I'm
one less
finished with this project already. Thanks, Roger.
There you go. Hey, what can I say? I'm here to help, buddy.
I needed it. I always need the help. Let's see who we got new in the chat. We got Comics Editions in the chat. Thank you for joining us. And we have Comic Core has shown up. What about Hero Clicks? Just as he said, perfect. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to put Hero Clicks in there. I think I can cut the bottoms off the bases and stick them in there. So that's going to be cool. So thank you guys. And Area 51 Mike says, yes, he thinks those will work. Deadpoolio says they may be too small. Yeah, they might be too small. And the base is bigger than their feet, so it takes up more space. I think I'm going to have to cut off the base. And then, yes, they still might be too small. But if those two match each other, then you can kind of maybe get an offset size on the Thing and Fantastic Four. As long as the other two figures match, we might be in good shape. All right.
As long as you keep perspective further away, is okay because they'd be further away.
That's a good point.
From the front. So
we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes, and we'll do it all live on next week's. No, we won't. And nobody will tune in for that. Cool. Yeah,
that will be super cool.
Yeah. All right. So we have some. We had some topics for tonight. Anybody remember what the first one was?
Something about how you struck deals on some books that you've picked up in the past. Yep. Is that sort of one of them?
All right. So DS Comics is our big winner tonight. You can start off and tell.
All right. Well, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't have any amazing stories. Like I went to a garage sale and found an AF-15 for 50 cents. I don't have any like super awesome
not
stories
too many of those
in that vein. I know, but I mean, Deadpool 2323 picked up some awesome stuff recently. A whole slew of those Secret Wars 8. I don't have anything really like that. So I was just thinking about this year. One thing I did when I picked up that Hulk 181 earlier this year, and I probably mentioned it when I did the video on that way back, like March or something. That's a tip that I use a lot, and that just came to mind is when I saw that on eBay, I'll check the seller, and if it's a seller that has a website like My Comic Shop or Dave and Adam's Card World or any of these other ones, DTA Collectibles, I'll go to their website and look for that book, and it's always cheaper on these sellers' websites than it is on eBay. But also, you'll see some sellers that don't have websites, don't look like companies, but you can see where they're located, and just Google the name of the seller and the location, like the city or the state, and a lot of them that are selling, like especially bigger books, CGC graded books all the time, you can find the number. It's sometimes a comic store or a comic seller. They have a little website, and you can call them. And what I did with that Hulk 181 is I worked out a deal on the phone for much cheaper, since he didn't have to pay eBay fee. I just paid over PayPal after talking to him on the phone and saved a good bit of money on that. So that's something I like to do, and that came to mind thinking about of getting deals. Other than that, I don't mind paying up for books, and I don't really look for huge deals. I just look for books that I want, and then you know, pay what I think it's worth to me, which sometimes is less than what other people pay, and those are books I don't own. Sometimes it's more than other people want to pay, and then I get it. So I don't really have any great like saving money on books stories.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, though. When you know, I almost called you this morning to get you to have a therapy session while they're still free. While they're still free, because I know you've toyed with upping the price to double free. So,
well, yeah, I mean the prices on Golden Age books are going up, so I need to up my fee so I can keep up buying the stuff I like. So I need to come up with the money somewhere.
Inflation, everything goes
right. Then, yeah. But I was gonna call you this morning because last night I felt when I picked up my book, or when I paid for my book last night, I kind of did it impulsively, even though I have been researching this book for at least a year at this point, and I knew what the going rate was. I had kind of put it in the back of my mind for the last 2 months, so I had not really researched this book for the last 2 months, and I felt like I just jumped on the price. I was excited, and I just went for it, you know?
Yep.
Wanted to hurry up and get it done before the seller changed their mind or another buyer stepped in to offer more. So I said, that's it. You know, I'm just going to take it. And then, you know, so then later I'm like looking up the book, I'm looking at past sales, and I see one that just sold for like almost $100 less than what I had just paid for it. And it was just 2 weeks ago. And I just stopped looking. I was disgusted. I was like, oh man, I jumped on it too fast. You know, that you get that feeling. And I was gonna, so I felt like that all night, all morning, and I was gonna call you and I was gonna ask you, how do you feel when you pay market price for a book? Because I feel terrible, you know, because it was still a good price. I'm not knocking the price. It was a good price, but it was the price, you know. So I was gonna ask you, man, how do you do it? You know, I'm always, if I don't get a good deal on it, I'm not happy, you know.
Well, let me tell you how that happens with me. I mean, I buy a lot of books, and you know, this year particularly, I've stepped up and of buying fewer, bigger books as opposed to more frequent, smaller purchases. But I mean, here's the thing: I try to have patience, especially if it's a book that's out there, like a bronze superhero key or something. They're not rare, so you don't have to jump on the first one you see. But I'll have an idea of like what condition of that book I want, and then I'll be patient. But I have an idea of what I want to pay for it. And then, you know, I'll check what's market price, what's the going rate. But if I see one that's in the grade I like, and it's really nicely centered, it's in a new CGC case or something, and it's just looks way better than the grade, and it's a little more than what the going rate is, but it's in my budget, in my ballpark, I don't have a problem paying for it. I mean, I'm not trying to buy books so that I can say, hey, I got this at market price, or I got this for $1 less than the last GPA sale. You know, I get a book I like, and what it's worth to me, I don't want to pay double what the going rate is because I can get it cheaper, obviously. But, you know, I don't mind paying a little more if it's the right book and if you really like it. The thing about patience, though, you can be patient and set a price and not cross that price even $1 more and just be disciplined and stick to it. the more patient you are, the higher these prices go as well. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. You can be patient and price yourself right out of these books. So, you know, for books I want, keys or something, I try to stay around market price. That's usually what my budget is. But, you know, I don't mind paying a little more than what it's worth, unless it's super scarce and then you don't have a choice. You got to jump on it. But, you know, if you're happy with a book and you buy it and it's in your budget and it's, you know, roughly what it goes for, give or take, you know, that's a good purchase. It's, you know, that's how I feel about it.
Well, this morning I was still upset about it. Not angry. I wasn't angry. I was very happy with the purchase and I was very happy with the book, and I couldn't wait to get it. You know, I still can't wait to get it, but I was disappointed in myself for not at least trying to negotiate or being willing. It felt like it was one of those times where my patience, all this patience I had been developing all year, I just let it all fall away because I saw the book I wanted, you know? And then when I went looking again, it looked like 2 months ago or so, the prices on this book started jumping and they started moving really fast. And now if you wanted to get the book that I got in the grade that I got, you're going to have to pony up $200 or $300 more than what I paid. So it looks like I got lucky, you know?
Yeah,
So,
you're talking about like a key book or something that's, you know, a few to several $100s. If you're, you know, $100 over what the last GPA sale was, you know what, wait 6 months and then you get a deal on it. You know,
yeah,
unless
that's
you're
true.
trying to flip books, you know, here and there all the time. If you're just buying it for your collection and you're going to have it for, you know, years, you know, what's $100 on if you pay 600 and the last GPA was 500? Yeah, I mean, you probably could have got one a little cheaper, but if you have the budget, you get it now, you move on to something else. In 6 months, that book's going to be $700 or $800. So eventually, you just wait until you got a deal if you want to rationalize it. But you know,
You keep saying numbers like that, and Roger's going to swallow his mustache.
well, yeah, I want to hear what Roger has to say because I guarantee he's got some good stories, some good deals, some good finds. I don't have. He's got such more exciting stories than me. My stories are I find books I like and I pay up for them. It's not very exciting.
Well, you know, I'd like to think, and I'd like to say that everything that I get is an incredible bargain, but that would be abjectly false, right? But the vast majority, I think I've said this before, the vast majority of the comics that I get are, you know, relative or huge bargains, just because it's fun. It's fun to bargain hunt and again, it's not that you get it cheaper monetarily, true, but I put a lot of work into it. Okay, I mean there's research, there is, you know, time going over countless listings and locally and on online and all that, and to me that's fun when I find a bargain. Okay. So, and DS, I know what you're talking about. It's a delicate balance between patience and that patience being to the point where now the market has appreciated that book where you can't find it if you had just bought it initially. So I understand that kind of juxtaposition, right? So I try to be a realist and mainly because of you, because I'm listening to you and your advice is always solid. So I am not quite as patient as I used to be. So I think I showed you guys on Sunday something that I picked up, right?
Yes.
So everybody in the chat, this has never been seen before. This is an exclusive for BUB'S No Faces chat, right? So here we go.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So let me see if I can get this a little bit better. I don't like the glare there. That doesn't look too good either. But oh well. Okay. So sorry about the glare there, guys. So you know, speaking of that, as everybody knows, well, not everybody, but most people know, I'm trying to recapture the ghostwriters that I lost when I was younger or were taken, however you want to, you know, describe that. So this is the last one I needed for my ghostwriter run, my regular ghostwriter run, 1 through 181. Although actually I am missing a few in the 50s now that I went through it, but that's no big deal. So what did I do here? Well, I kind of listened a little bit to Bub here, and I was looking. Yes, I give you credit here, Bub. Right.
I'll
This
take
cost
it 'cause
me.
it's rare.
This cost me about $60, by the way.
Oh my god. Oh.
But it gets better than that. It came with a bundle of more Ghost Riders, which I'm going to sell for about $20. So it's going to come out net about $40, $45.
Nice.
Okay. And this, what happened is that there was I went to the dark side and I went over to eBay, and I just, like about a week ago, I said, let me just look up Ghost Rider. Just no one, no nothing, right? And there was a lot, and he described it as Ghost Rider 11, 17, 22, 37, and there was a 1 at the end. And in the picture, it was kind of obscured. All the way to the right, I could see, this part here, not the 1, but I could see the 20 cent. And I knew that would be the only one with that color scheme. And then when you drill down, you could see the cover. But, a lot of people, they just look at that first one on the listing. And I said, well, I'm never going to get it, but I'll put, $65 and see what happens. And sure enough, I got the notification, that I won, and it got here. And this thing, the colors are just amazing. I mean, this thing, the color strike on this is really something.
Very
the only two defects that I see, DS, you let me know what this does. Over here on this staple, it's got staple rips underneath it here. I don't know if, see that there? It's got a rip.
Yep.
But that staple is on the top part of the spine here. It's like it was pushed down and then it sprung back up. And then there's a little crease right there.
Oh, that's nothing.
and a little blunt corner there. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's a nice looking book. I mean, I'm no expert at grading, but I mean, that staple looked like maybe had a little rust or discoloration on it. I don't know if that's my computer or.
No rust. No rust.
Okay, yeah. So what you're describing, that looks like it's probably an 8.5 in that range, assuming there's no other weird things going on. But a couple little minor staple tears, a blunted corner. Maybe if it has a spine tick or something. I mean, you're looking at probably an 8.5. So wow, yeah, solid book. Definitely, it's a super deal on that book. That's awesome.
I didn't think it would be that high. I graded it more like a 6.5 myself.
Oh no!
Oh, it's definitely higher than 6.5. I mean, it's I'd have to look at it closely, and I'm like again, I said I'm no expert, but I mean it's between 8 and 9. I'm sure.
The staple tear is pretty deep down in that spine. I don't know if. Let me see if I can get that. See,
what do they call that? Staple stress, actually.
Well, unless it's tore, then it's a tear at the staples. I don't know the specific term for it, but
it looks to me like that's a tear. Like there's a little gap between the staple and that bottom of that spine.
Yeah, I mean,
all the way across, right?
If the tears are small, I mean, if they're like an 1/8 of an inch tear, the size of the tear really is what determines how low the grade will go. If you have a 2-inch tear versus a 1/16 inch tear, you can have a 1/16 inch tear on a book in the 9s. So the longer the tear is, the lower the grade goes. But what you're describing and what I can see, I mean, yeah, I mean, let's just say it's definitely a 7.5 with no doubt, I would say. So from there on up, it's an awesome book.
Yeah, it really. I was like, as soon as I got it, I was away for the Thanksgiving, right? But I knew it was here because I had somebody here to let it in, right? And I couldn't wait to send that picture to you guys. I was like, what do you think? What do you think? Did I do okay?
Yeah, I was gonna mention this early in this chat, but we already talked about the hexing, so I didn't even bring it up. But I was hoping to hear some more about it or to see, because I hadn't seen it in your videos, and I didn't want to bring it up because of the whole hex thing that we just talked about. But
right,
Deadpool 2323 is saying he thinks it's 8.5 to 9. He admits also he's no expert in grading, but I mean, he's probably getting a better look at it than me. But yeah, I think it's probably in the 8.5 range.
Yeah, he just picked up some really good stuff too. By the way, he called me right before the chat, and he let me know. But I'm not going to spoil it because man, this guy is amazing. The stuff he picks, I don't know. He's got some talk about good juju. I mean, man, it's amazing the stuff he finds. But anyway, so that this kind of it was like a convergence of sort of a semi-stealth buy and just dumb luck. Just happened to be at the right place at the right. It was like 10 minutes left when I saw it, And maybe it was, I guess maybe it was since it was around the holidays, maybe. I don't know if that had anything
No,
to do with
it sounded like a terrible listing. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's my bread and butter when I'm looking for a key book. You know, hunt the lots. Don't be fooled by the first picture, because a lot of times the first picture, if it's a bad listing, they don't pay attention, or they don't put the key book in that picture. Or like you say, if it's a long listing, which is funny because eBay tells you when you're putting a listing, use every character you can in the listing, right? Use them all. But when you actually do, it ends up with ... at the end, you know.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
It had like some weird punctuation marks in there. And I was like, what? So I didn't even know myself. I was like, you know, it was one of those listings where you're like, that's just a couple of ghostwriters. But I listened to Bub, and I remember him saying, hey, bad listings mean good deals, right? So thank you, Bub.
Well, you dabbled in the dark side, and now you're going to see how far down that rabbit hole you can go. Because if you start going on there late at night, you can find super deals on auctions. You can start perusing bronze listings, and you'll find it mislisted as golden age all the time. You will find there's all you just found a really good one there. Those are all over. So when you're up late at night, look at ending soonest auctions. Look at just search through bronze comics, because you'll see a lot of gold stuff and silver mislisted as bronze, because eBay has this weird like automatic default category, and a lot of times it puts like Batman's like golden age or silver age, Batman or Superman or superhero stuff automatically bronze or copper age. I don't know why it defaults to that, but you can find a lot of good stuff. So
yeah, and this just goes to show you that they're out there. I mean, you know, I'll say maybe the other ones I found were not that good a condition, so maybe I can get 20, maybe I'll get 15 for them. You know, with fees maybe 10, so $50. We'll say 50.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you can get on those is
going
to come off an already good deal. If you just told me that you paid 60 for that book alone, that's a hell of a deal right there. But you're going to even get it lower based on what you sell to the rest of that lot, which is Bub style. So that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a couple earlier ghostwriters. I don't have them handy, but I think there was an 11 and a 13 and a 17, something like that. Bub style, exactly. That's what I was thinking, Bub style. and then the other things is, you know, the like I was saying, you know, Black Friday is it Black? Yeah, Black Friday sales, LCS sales. You know, Deadpool 2323 knows. You know, my LCS had everything $14.99 and below was $1.
That's crazy,
right? So we already went there for Veterans Day, and when I got back, I said, let me go back see, and I went through every box, every issue to see what there was. So I picked up about 15 comics, including this one here, guys. This one here, that's a Showcase 45, I believe. The Origin of Sergeant Rock. Russ Heath cover for $1. It's like a good, very good, you know. But for $1?
Anything Russ Heath is good. I really like Russ Heath's artwork. His use of light and shadow, which I've mentioned before in my videos, always intriguing the way he uses light and shadow. Really dig Russ Heath's art. So yeah, it's a cool book.
Look at the shadows here of the arm of right here and over here.
Right.
See, those elongated shadows. That's a Russ Heath, you know.
Yeah, he's really thick shadows, and a lot of times on scenes where it's nighttime or dark or in a cave or something, especially in the horror stuff, he has what I call the impossible light source, and there's light emanating. It's sort of like he picks where he wants the shadows to be and then just puts the light source to create those shadows, and it's somewhere there is no light source. It's like coming from nowhere, from nothing, but it works so well as a piece of art. So yeah, I really like Russ Heath.
Look at this machine.
Can you show that up a little closer, Roger? I can. Kind of hard. There's so many sepias in there.
Sepias. Oh boy, nice.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, he's holding him out the window, and he lost his helmet, and he's still firing. That is awesome.
Because the machine gun nest is in this. It's in this bombed out tower, so that's the only way he can get there. See,
that is really cool.
And really, speaking of shadow, look at in the back, the guy in black.
Right. I mean, he didn't even draw the guy. It's just a silhouette. And the guy in the window, it looks like he didn't even draw the full guy. It looks like most of it's missing, and it's just sort of implied by the darkness.
It's almost like he's folded there. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And then down there, you have another little, another fight going on down there.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's war.
just Russ Heath just really has really good textures. I mean, just really good stuff. Well, anyway, that was $1, so I figured, hey, there's no way I'm leaving it. It was misfiled, by the way. This was in Sergeant. It was like in the back of Sergeant Rock, not in Showcase. So, I've also picked up a bunch of Ghost Riders, you know, because mine are just all beat up. So, I'm not going to show these here, but just the Copper Age and late Bronze Age. But this one I did want to show. Last one. I got this for $1, and it's not worth much, right? But this is just such a cool cover with that huge machine and the effect of it coming, you know, sort of at a 3/4 angle out. And then here you have the challengers down here trying to defeat it. And I love this, the ones where it has this like rectangular box on the trade dress. This is all reprint issue, by the way, from Showcase 11. But for $1, I thought this was a heck of a good cover to have. And it's just even if I've read the story too, which is okay. But again, you know, for $1, these Bronze Age covers, I'm going to buy them all day.
Yeah, I've been looking at Bronze Horror, especially Wrightson, Adams, Nick Carty stuff. Some of that stuff is still super cheap. So I'm trying to pick up a bunch of that just for investment and just because I like it. But yeah, bronze stuff is really underrated. Aside from like the major superhero keys, there's a lot of super cool bronze stuff out there. Bub, I sent you a link to an eBay listing. It had a complete run of a bronze. I can't even remember what it was at this
Creatures
point,
on the Loose.
Creatures on the Loose, the entire like 17 or 20 issue run, and they were all in decent condition for like a reasonable price, and you get an instant collection, and that's a really cool series. So
it was 37 issues, DS.
37. Okay, well, this guy had the whole, the entire run.
Have the whole manual?
He had from 10 to 37.
Yeah, 10 to 37,
Oh, okay.
every single issue. And he said they were from mid to high grade. And I looked at them, and they looked really decent. I mean, it looked like a really nice collection, and he had it, would it be a reasonable price, but maybe it was the best offer. I can't remember exactly, but
it was buy it now, I think, or best offer. It was a really low price, though. I considered it, but I had already spent. Of course, this is earlier. It was the same day that I had my big pickup, so it's funny that I'm like, oh, that's too much money, and then I paid 3-4 times that later, just a few hours later. But I really did like it. I've got a couple of Creatures on the Loose already. And then, I like the title. I think it's pretty cool. But I have about 4 runs that I'm already kind of started on. So yeah. I was like, you know what? Sometimes I file that under a run to pick up another day, and I just.
Well, that's why I sent it to you, because I know once you start a run, you have to finish the entire run. So this one and done, you instantly have the entire run right off the bat. So
that's no fun.
I sent it to you. Yeah, that's good.
That's no fun. I like hunting them down. It's too much fun to go for the ones I'm missing and stalk a book. But at that price, really, it was a good deal no matter what.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah, I think those early creatures are like Cole and Bongar, some really kind of off like fantasy sword and sorcery stuff. And they went to before that. Then they had the monster reprints, and then they went to from 30 to 37. It's a pretty good title, actually.
Yeah, the later ones, each one is an individual issue on a different Marvel monster. I think, right, Roger?
The early ones.
The early ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. After you get into the Bronze Age, I think it was King Cole, then Fongar, and then Manwolf. But I mean, I'm going from memory, so if anybody in the chat knows for sure, correct me.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not real familiar. I just saw it, and it was a super cool title that I've come across before, but I'm not versed in it. But it's just one of those titles that doesn't get a lot of love, and it has top artists, and it's really cool stuff, and it's worth picking up. And that stuff's super cheap out there. I mean,
let me see how many I have. Hold on.
Everyone's doing the same thing. I was going to look too. Quick, DS, say something.
What, you going to go look up the issues you have? Oh, you don't want everybody going and seeing that listing.
No. They can see the listing. It's fine. I'm not gonna pick them up. I really liked them. I thought they were cool. I appreciate you sending them to me too. But I just felt like, you know what? I was looking under creatures, but I think I have it filed. I think the only ones that I have are Manwolf. So I think I have it filed under M for Manwolf. It's one of those titles I'm going to split up.
Mine doesn't start till 22, so that's Thongar.
How do you spell man? M-A. Oh, no, that's too far away. I can't reach that without disconnecting, and I dare not do that. Nobody will hear me for the next hour.
It's a pretty nice cover here. This one was a Steranko cover. This one here. And
that's cool. I know, like Gil Kane and I think Ramita did some in that run.
That might be Buckler. I'm not sure who did that. We got that looks like I'm not sure who that is. Might be Buscema. So, again, creatures on the loose, but this wasn't really he was more of a like a Atlantis, like an old sword and sorcery title, and then starts the Manwolf with 30.
That's one I have that I can't reach.
31, the Uber.
Yeah, here's the listing. All right, so this guy's got issues 10 through 37, complete set, mid to higher grade. The pictures seem to bear that out. $125.
That's not bad.
Yeah, just that for $125. I mean, I would talk to the guy and try to get it a little lower, obviously, but I mean.
Oh yeah, you hate paying market price.
I mean, for me, I would hit the guy up, but I mean, I would try to get a couple bucks off. But I mean, if I really wanted that title for $125, you're getting like 27 issues. That's already a good deal.
That's a Gil Kane, I'm pretty sure, right there, DS.
Because some of them are Silver Age, aren't they?
Well, yeah, the earlier ones are Silver Age, correct.
Yeah, so I mean, you get some Silver Age ones in there, and then you get the Bronze Age ones. You get good artists in the entire run, some cool characters, some monster stuff. That's if you're looking to spend $125 on something, I think that's a good deal. There's stuff like that on eBay, Roger, that you can find if you continue down the rabbit hole, which I highly encourage you to do, by the way.
Let me tell you something. You start diddling down the rabbit hole, you'll end up with like a suitcase full of Tijuana Bibles you don't remember buying. So.
that sounds like personal experience there, Bub. that sounds like
never again. Never again.
Stay away from that tequila in Mexico, buddy.
Yeah, tequila.
I do some wild things. I'm glad I'm a teetotaler because I never. There was somebody. Oh, Comic Spectre had a great video. He's like, I bought these when I was kind of tipsy, and I'm glad I did. He bought this run of Mr. Miracle, really nice for the Kirby run, and he was like, I don't remember doing it, but I'm glad I did, or something along that effect. Really, really cool. So.
Yeah, the last thing I bought online while I was tipsy, and this has been many years ago, was, and this is why I decided never again am I going shopping online while I'm tipsy. I bought an inflatable NFL chair with a cup holder in it. Horrible.
You're breaking up there a little bit. You bought an inflatable, you said?
Yeah, an inflatable NFL football team chair where you pump it up. It's like a beach ball that you sit on with a cup holder. Horrible. Horrible. I could have brought like a lower of the top 15 bronze key. I bought that. It's retarded. So, yeah, never again.
Maybe it was a mail away promotional item and you'll be back in Roger's wheelhouse there.
Yeah, I don't know. It was 3 a.m. and there was an infomercial. I was like, man, that looks super comfortable. That's awesome. I'll watch that while I was sitting that while I watched the game. And then when I got it, I was like, oh, I forgot I ordered this.
Where is it now?
Oh, I don't even know. I got rid of it. I don't even know if I still have it or not.
All right. Wow. Put a thumbs up in the chat, you guys, if you think he's sitting on it right now.
Hey, trust me, if it was any good, I would try to sit on it as much as possible to try to rationalize that I'm at least getting my money's worth out of it. But
was it NFL or a certain team?
I think it was NFL. I used to be a Dolphins fan, and it was a Dolphins inflatable NFL Dolphins.
You have my sympathies. Because
A
I've
dolphin?
been a Dolphin fan. I've been a suffering Dolphin fan for 40 years since they last won in 1974, I think.
One of the first games I saw, that goes further back than me, but one of the first games I remember seeing as a kid was the Monday Night Football game in 1985 when the Dolphins played the Bears. And it was Dan Marino's like second year or something, and the Bears went undefeated, but they lost that one game on Monday night, and Dan Marino just lit them up. And I remember watching that and being just so impressed with this guy throwing the ball around and just chucking it all over the field, and it was just awesome. And I just fell in love with the Dolphins from that point on. And then I suffered through the 80s watching them, and the 90s, and they had a couple good teams. And then I was like almost in tears when Dan Marino was playing the Jaguars in like, what was it, 99, his last game. Yeah, he only played the first half, and it was clear he was was done. And that was, I really wasn't a huge football fan after that as much.
You know, what might make a good episode here for the chat is things I should have bought, and I should have bought instead of, X thing. And like for example, should I have bought this Ghost Rider one or an NFL chair, inflatable chair with a cup holder?
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, Roger. Let's put that back in the oven for about 6 days. And you let me know when that one's fully baked.
Hey, listen, I'm sure we all have sales regrets like that, or buyer's regrets. You buy something and all of a sudden you're like, I think that all the time. I could have had a not a Marvel Spotlight 5, but I could have had, a Marvel Spotlight 10 instead of going out to dinner.
Yeah.
I go back and look at like GPA sale prices of like major Grail books from like 1995, and then I almost throw up in my mouth. I have to stop. It's just so disgusting. You could have picked up like AF-15 and like 7.5 for like $1,000, and it just oh my god.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, I look at things at this point, unless they're stark necessities, I don't buy them. I just don't.
Aren't they all?
I always have that regret of what I could have gotten. What if? And that drives me bananas. It just does. And so I don't have. I think like I'm like DS said. I think he doesn't have that many pants or whatever. I'm
trying to limit my regret purchases, and the only way to do that is just don't purchase anything. But I did break down on Black Friday, bought a pair of pants also. So
you did? Oh wow!
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Then my analogy won't work too well. But normally I would say, hey, I didn't buy any clothes this year except I think a pair of shoes because they were worn out. And I figure all that money went into my dollar bin hunting and this Ghost Rider here. So this Ghost Rider is really like 2 pair of pants.
Well, DS, I don't know if it counts. Did you buy one of those pair of pants that you can zipper off the legs halfway down and have a pair of shorts as well? Because then you can put your shorts buzzed in. Yeah, you can add that.
I mean, I'm not trying to buy pants and shorts. If I can get them in a combo, that's way better. Summer's going to come around at some point. I'm already done. I got shorts, extra pair of shorts, good to go. And my sneakers are getting pretty bad, so I'll just cut them off and make sandals out of those. Done deal.
Oh man!
So when the Comic Link spring featured auction rolls around, I can put all my focus on that. I don't have to worry about.
I love it.
So.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, I had to buy the shoes at least. I had to buy the shoes.
Well, yeah.
Pants you can sort of get away with, but shoes with holes in them, that's the wife won't stand for that.
She's got to be seen with you, doesn't she?
You got it. She's got to be seen with me. I pick her up from work sometimes and all that. So yeah,
I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I wear clothes until they literally wear out, like are totally unusable. Shoes, pants, shirts, or whatever. I don't care. I just wear stuff that's comfortable until it's pretty much unwearable. And then I never have regrets about spending on clothing or shoes at least, and that stuff can add up. I used to spend a lot more on that, and I've just, as I've gotten a little older, I've a pair of jeans that works, a couple pair of jeans that works. You're good to go. T-shirts I'll wear until the armpits fall off. You know what I mean?
The armpits fall off.
Yeah. Well, that's usually the first place to wear out.
That hard yellow crotch
on them. You get the little pinholes in it, and then the armpits will go next, and then the collar gets all stretched, and then it's time to go. So,
yeah, my wife, since she does the laundry, whenever something like that, I never see it. It's just gone.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. What happened to all my good shirts? Right.
Yeah, I just never see it. It just disappears. It's just into the ether.
Oh, you guys are making me feel bad. I buy pants all the time. What have I been doing with my life? What a fool I've been.
Well, and a job I used to have to wear suits and shirts and ties and that whole bit. Man, that was an expense. I spent more on clothing than I did on food. Because you had to look good and in front of people and la di da di da and. No, not for me.
Area 51 says, I do the Einstein way of buying clothes. So I don't know if that's a true story or not, but I think I know what he's talking about. So like Einstein he had like 5 of the same suit. And that way, whenever he had to go out, he never had to waste brain power on which one to put on. He just would reach in his closet and get dressed. And that was it. He never had to think about what he was going to wear because he only owned the same thing in multiple copies. So there you go. Maybe that's the trick.
I've heard that too, and I do that. I mean, I have like I don't have a ton of like just say T-shirts. I got them stacked, and I just hit whatever's up in the rotation. I don't even think about it. So, but yeah, if I buy a pair of something that I like, I'll go back and buy 2 more pairs, and then I'll have 3 of the same thing. And people say, "You wear those pants every day?" I'm like, "Oh, I got multiple pairs."
He said while walking out the door, saying goodbye to no one. He just palm on the door, just poof, and he's out.
The only difference between me and Einstein is he's doing it to preserve brain power. I'm doing it to save comic money. But the end justifies the means. So there you go.
Yeah, same. The same result, but for different rationales.
That's awesome.
And I do something similar actually. But unfortunately, DS, I don't have that much control over it because, as I said, the wife, kind of has this thing about appearance, which, I'm not all there, you know what I mean, with it. But so, everything has to be, pressed and neat and no stains and la di da di da, So what I'll do is if I see something with a stain, I won't put it in the laundry because I'll get told about it, right? I'll just sort of take care of it myself.
Right.
Just use the Roger method, the wet cloth, and hang it up outside the window, and I'm good to go.
The Roger method.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, listen, I've been married 25 and some years. I know all the tricks and stuff.
That's great. I love it. How did we fall on this again?
I don't know. What else topics do we have to cover so we can do some more comic stuff before we lose all of our viewers?
Oh yeah, good point. Well, I was just what was the second topic? I don't remember. I'm trying to keep all my windows closed so I don't have technical difficulties. So you guys will have to help me out.
Put some foil over your head. That might help.
What makes you think it's not already there?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Our wish list, our Christmas wish list.
Yeah. Right.
So since generally you guys don't let me say anything when I go last, I'm going to start going first on these. When my Christmas wish list, I got to be careful what I say around my wife because she's always real quick to kind of spring and go ahead and be like, yeah, okay, that's boom. Now I'm getting you that for Christmas. And I'm like, but I was just like theoretically saying I need a new umbrella set. And she's like, no, umbrella set's under the tree. That's your big gift, so you got to be careful. But I was like, I was looking at the prices on CGC because I was going to send some books to PGX. And DS Comics is always saying, he doesn't really get, by the way, DS Comics, he's in the chat. So hi DS. But he's always saying, I don't really get why people say PGX is so much cheaper than CGC, you know, in his calculations, which always end up in his favor somehow.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact he never calculates shipping, which is always key to me. But, you know, however it works out, it works out. And he's like, yeah, they're basically the same price. So I was playing with the numbers the other night, and they're not the same price. It's about 30% higher with CGC after shipping and everything else, depending on the services you choose. Of course, it can be a little less than that or a little more than that. But like if you do a lot of pressing and if you send enough books, then you can close that gap from 30% down to like 15%. So there's not as much. I think that people tend to think that like PGX is just the cheapest you can go and CGC is the most expensive you can go, and there's hundreds of dollars between them. And it really isn't. It's more like $12 a book. And that's not really that big a difference if you like the product better. You know, I say if I go to a restaurant and one meal costs, you know, $5, another meal costs $17, that's a big difference to me. But if one meal I don't like and the other one I love, then yeah, I'm good, you know. So that's probably a bad analogy, but for a guy who likes to eat, it works for me. So anyway, I was looking at the CGC stuff, and my wife went ahead and got me a CGC membership. And she went ahead and got it right away so that I could submit books, which I already submitted on Saturday. I sent them 8 books and waiting to get them back. You know, hopefully they'll come back. They won't make it for Christmas. I talked to CGC just this morning, and they said that they're not going to make it in time for Christmas. But that was the hope, that we could kind of shove them under the tree. But they'll make it probably. It'll be like the first part of the second week of January, somewhere around January 7th or 8th, they'll probably show up. So January, yeah, that should be pretty good. So
yeah, that's awesome. Good job.
I'm super happy
for getting you that. That's a really good gift. And yeah, I mean, CGC is a little more expensive than PGX, but we're not going to get into a whole thing about that.
No, we're not getting into it.
But,
that wasn't the point. No.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little more expensive, but when you first sign up, you also get a credit. And the turnaround times are decent, and it's just a really good service. It's not that much more expensive than any of the other ones.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. And but anyway, in spite of all that, they had this deal where if you sign up, like for the premium membership, which I think is hilarious, that you know if you're going to sign up, if you're going to send books to CGC, you're probably going to spend a lot of money anyway sending books. I mean, that's just part of it. And I say that it's not more money than it's worth, but it's more money, you know, that you're spending, that you're not buying new comics with, that you're investing in the collection you already have, is the way I look at it, in the preservation and in the value and the increased value of a collection that you already have. So, which has its own value, of course, in and of itself and merits. So, but they give you like, I signed up for 150 and they gave me 150 credit. So basically it was like free. And you're going to send in $150 worth of books a year, or you wouldn't be getting this membership at all.
Yeah, they're just hoping you'll stick with their membership year after year, because you just get that credit the first year, and after that, you just pay that fee every year. But
right,
you know, that's what, like, I mean, people pay for Netflix. It's like the same price as a Netflix per year. You know what I mean? And Netflix, you watch stuff. Comics, you get much more value for that monthly $10. Or so than you do out of like a Netflix or any number of other things we spend. I mean, $10 a month, $12 a month. How many things do we spend 10 or $12 a month on that we're not getting anything out of? I feel like it's well worth it.
Yeah,
that
and
sounds like a good deal. You're right. That does sound like a good deal. It is,
and you continue to get 10% off even after the first year. You keep getting 10% off all their services, so that works out pretty good too. That has some value back on it.
I'll tell you where you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that if you live near CGC, it's really a good bargain.
I know, that makes me mad
because the shipping and the insurance are the killers there.
Yes.
Yeah, there's 2 tips I have for anybody who's new to CGC or has just started submitting books. Number 1, your biggest savings for using CGC is using the quick press, which is $8 a book for moderns, but you have to have a minimum of 15 books. So if you have enough where you can send 15 books in, you can do the quick press for $8 a book, and then they will grade the moderns, which works out to like $18 a book. So for $25, $26 a book, you can get 15 at a minimum of 15 moderns, pressed, dry cleaned, and graded. I think that's a really good deal for moderns. And if you're sending 15 or 20 books, the shipping is defrayed across all of those, so it only ends up being like an extra $1 per book. So that's your best deal if you can do bulk like that and get a press and the quick press and the grading for moderns. The other thing, what was the other thing about it I was going to say? I can't remember. It'll come to me in a minute.
Oh, no, you promised us 2 tips. You can't just give 1 tip and leave the other tip out.
Oh, yeah, okay. So here's the other tip. The other tip is the return shipping. The cost of that is based on mostly on the insurance. It doesn't cost that much to actually ship it, but they will pay for the insurance and charge you for it. If you list your books, whatever you put down as your declared value for your books is how much they will add that up and charge you for the insurance for that amount on the shipping. You know, it's a good idea. It's insuring the books. You don't want to cheap yourself too much in case something does happen. But, you know, if you're submitting books that are under, you know, in the tier that's the economy tier or whatever, that's or a value tier under $200, don't put 180. If it's a book that you think is 180, but it's easy to get or something, it only costs you $5. Just put like $20. They're not going to go through and argue with you about the value of the books, but the higher the combined value of those books is, they charge you for the insurance on the shipping, and that can make a big, you know, $10, $15, $20, $25 difference on the return shipping. So just be wary of that or cognizant of that, and then adjust your declared values accordingly.
Well, I want to know where your hot tips were Saturday morning when I shipped these suckers out, because I spent like $52 on shipping, on return shipping.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I didn't inflate the value of the books. I just wanted to make sure if something happened to them that I wouldn't have a problem.
Well, did you have what tier did you use?
Modern
tier, $52 return shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's high for some reason. I'm not sure what you did, but I usually send 15 to 20 moderns at a time, and I get the quick press and the dry clean and the grading. And the return shipping is usually, I don't know, $35.
Well, I know that you use FedEx, and they had FedEx available to me and UPS. But what was wrong with that was that they required signature, which that means I had to ship them to my office, and I don't really want to do that. So in order to have it available to me, like at the post office when I get off work or whatever,
right? Yeah.
Then I had to do it that way.
Well, I use USPS for that reason. If they miss me, they don't attempt to redeliver it. They just keep it at the post office, which most people live close enough to the post office as opposed to a FedEx center. But FedEx has a cool thing where if there's a Walgreens near you, you can, while it's in progress, but I don't think they'll do it for a CGC package, but other stuff they will. You can ask them to hold it at a location, and you can pick a Walgreens near you, and it'll just be delivered there and wait for you. And then you can go into the desk at Walgreens and sign for your packages, sort of like picking up the post office. UPS doesn't have that.
I've done that. I've done that. That's perfectly safe too. They have a back room where they lock it up and the whole bit.
But so you can do that with CGC, but
UPS or FedEx, who does that?
FedEx does that with Walgreens. The only thing with CGC packages, they are sent certain certified and with a signature, but they're sent in a certain way that the packages need to be locked up in a safe or behind lock and key at every stop along the delivery route all the way back to you. So if you don't tell CGC beforehand to ship it to the Walgreens under your name, you cannot change that en route because that's a certain type of package that needs to be locked up. It takes longer to get back to you. It doesn't just fly through the mail to you, and you can't reroute it once it starts. But you can tell CGC ahead of time. I usually fill out the paperwork, and then when I see they're getting graded, I'll call customer service and tell them, can you change this address to the Walgreens for my name or Walgreens care of me or however that is. And then they will just drop it off there, and I can go into Walgreens and sign for it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I've done that
before. I'll keep that in mind. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is a good tip. I knew about it, but that is a good tip. I totally forgot. I haven't done that in a while, but that is a good tip. So definitely that counts as a tip.
Yes, all right, well, thank you. So there you go. There's my CGC tips, and I got plenty more CGC tips. I use CGC all the time. So
We
you
got
can have one every week. CGC tip of the week.
yes,
All
and we
right.
got 3
Hit
tips
me up
like
next
that.
week. I'll have another one. Sure.
It's like that
There you go.
scene in Total Recall where he goes in the bar and meets that lady. We got 3 tips today. We appreciate that.
On the enunciation there.
Oh, yes, the enunciation. Thank
Yes,
you.
Be very careful.
Oh, yes. My diction is always at the ready. Yep. Well, good deal. So, what about you guys? What's on your Christmas? I ended up getting my Christmas wish list early, so that worked out great. What about you guys?
Well, I'll jump in.
Jump in.
Me and Mrs. DS don't really celebrate Christmas. We're not big on gifts, so I really don't have anything on my wish list. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just going to try to score something in an auction by the end of the year on Comic Link or Comic Connect, and I'll call that a Christmas gift to myself.
Well, there you go. While you're at it, score me one too, and call it a Christmas gift to me.
All right, we'll do. Maybe I'll buy you that Creatures on the Loose instant collection.
Holy cow! You
I'm
better
sure
buy
you
me.
dig it, but you won't go buy it. But if you got it, you would love it. If you just got it, you would definitely love it.
I tell you, I think he must have like another eBay account, and that's his account, because he's pushing that way too hard. That's got to be some kind of underlying benefit to DS. It's got to be.
I'm just going to throw this out there. And what I do, I'm something of a researcher with my job and things that I do. So I'll just say that I believe that any smart eBayer, right? Any smart eBayer should have. So I think DS is very, very savvy when it comes to this stuff. Yeah. As you said, Roger, I think he's on the ball, and he's written some of the rules that he doesn't publish. And if I had to guess, one of the rules that he hasn't published is that you should always have a separate buying and selling eBay account. One for buying, one for selling. And that way you don't cross-contaminate your customer service experiences. So what do you think, DS?
Well, I use the same buyer and seller account. I don't do any of that shady stuff on eBay.
It's not shady.
Not shady.
I know. A lot of people do that. You know what? I don't. When I buy things, I pay promptly and I get good feedback as a buyer. When I sell things, I ship promptly and I ship very well and I take good pictures and I communicate and I get 100% feedback as a seller. And I like it all in the same account so people can look at my feedback and it shows the total amount of feedback, 100%, top rated seller. And part of that feedback is from buyer feedback. So it's all together for me.
Yeah, I like to pay promptly. It drives me crazy when I pay for a book or usually it's a book, let's face it. But when I pay for something within minutes and then I don't get like a confirmation of my purchase for like days, that drives me insane. Yeah. I can't stand it when I look through the description and then after all that I'm reading, we may process your purchase in 1 to 3 business days. And then you send them a text or you send them a message like 3 days later, like, hey, I haven't seen anything. They're like, yes, it's 1 to 3 days from this. And then we'll update 2 days after that. And your book will be on a slow boat from China any month now. Just sit back.
Another thing that bugs me is
contact us if you're worried.
And then they do that and it just says shipped and they don't bother to put the tracking number in. And it's like, I've already waited 5 days for you to ship it and you couldn't even be bothered to put the tracking number in so I can track it. So when I sell something, I guarantee next day shipping and I don't mark it shipped when I print the label and it sits for 5 days. I mark it shipped when I go into the post office physically with all the packages, pay for it, bring the receipt out, type the tracking numbers into everything. I mark shipped and I type the tracking number in and it's guaranteed next day from me. So I know how it is to have to wait on sellers to ship stuff. I ship it next day and the tracking and it says shipped when it's actually shipped. So that's what I do as a seller. And I expect the same thing as a buyer. But, people who bid on auctions or they'll, click buy and then they don't pay for a couple days and then they hit you up, I'll pay on Thursday. I don't mess with that anymore. I just cancel orders. I'm not messing around. I give everybody 20 for an auction, you get 24 hours or it's canceled. I just cancel the order and I send a second chance offer to the next highest bidder or I relist it. I don't mess around anymore.
Wow, that's nice. That's tough, man.
You're like harsh old school there, DS boy, I tell you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I sold a ASM 238, CGC 9.8
Yeah.
You know, it's like $1,000 book, and I put it up for auction starting at $1 for a week. So as a week goes by, the bid goes up, and it sold for like 1,025. And then I wait a couple hours, and then I sent the invoice. So they saw they want it. Then they got the invoice from me. And then the next morning I sent them a message, said, please pay by such and such tonight, or I'll be canceling this order. Per the description, I only allow 24 hours. Never heard anything. I sent a second chance buyer, and I was like, hey, they still might buy it, but I haven't heard from them. So if you want it at your bid, which was like $997, you can have it. And they paid instantly. So that automatically canceled the other order. I'm like, $1,000 book. If you win $1,000 book in an auction, you need to pay for that. Waiting around to get that money, and then 2 days go by or 3 days go by, they don't have it. So
I agree. I'm a little more lenient than that. I give them 3 days, and after that, then I send them one message. If they don't respond within 24 hours, I cancel.
Yeah, that's pretty lenient. I mean, I used to be like that, and I used to wait the 48 hours and then open an eBay case, and eBay contacts them, and they have to wait longer. I just got so tired of it. There's so many delinquent bidders on eBay. I don't have time for that. I mean, if you buy something, I expect you to pay for it right away, and that means within a day. But in return, I guarantee I will ship it the next day, and it's be packed perfectly. So, I'm not asking for anything I don't do myself. When I win an auction, I pay for it instantly.
I'm sure. And to be fair, what most of the things I sell are video game related on eBay, so that's kind of a dynamic, and they usually do right away. But every once in a while, I'll do get somebody that's like, I sold something, and he said, hey, listen, I'll wait until the day after Thanksgiving. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And on day after Thanksgiving, otherwise I would have sent him one notice on Saturday. I would have canceled.
Well, you're nicer than me, Roger. I don't deal with that anymore. I just,
I've got no big thing to wait a couple more days. So.
No, I hear you. Like I'm being totally genuine. You are definitely nicer than me. I don't have any tolerance or any patience anymore for delinquent buyers. You go into Walmart and you get load up on groceries. You can't walk out the store and come back 3 days later. You buy something, you pay for it. Just because it's on eBay, all of a sudden it's online. It doesn't count. You don't have to pay for things when you buy it. No, I mean, it's so I used to be nice. I've become very jaded as a seller, and I want payment right away. And if you're not paying, I'm canceling it. I'm not waiting.
That's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it as long as it's in your description. I'm good with it.
Oh, and you know what else I do? When I have a buyer that I have to cancel the order or they're delinquent like that, I add them to my blocked list, which is growing. There's a blocked list. You can block eBay users from bidding or buying or sending you messages even. You put them on the blocked list. And every time that happens, I add them to the blocked list. And I've got the blocked list is fairly long at this point. I have a lot of eBay users that are not allowed to bid on my items or even send me messages anymore.
Wow. That's tough.
Yeah, I'm the Grinch of eBay, I'm telling you.
I think in another life, DS was one of those mid-century executioners.
I think it's this life.
If you stole so much as a penny, you're dead. Yeah. I mean, there's no parole. There's no trial and nothing. I saw it. You did it. End.
That is rough, man. I tell you,
I've modern executioner.
Excuse me. I've got one.
I would do to trial and execution same day. You're arrested to trial and execution all same day. Get it done with. Out of the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good thing we have the framers of the Constitution, which thought we had rights, because otherwise DS would be like the Purge, like that movie, The Purge. You just go out there and kill whoever you want. Yeah,
he's Judge Dredd.
If there was an
all.
eBay purge, I'd be all over that. I got a whole list of buyers out there. I would go out on eBay and I'd do an eBay purge. They'd all be gone.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And the thing is, look, if you're on eBay buying or selling, it's really crucial that you leave feedback. If you can work something out with somebody, there's a problem, you work it out, that's fine. But sometimes if there's an issue, it's important that you leave feedback, positive and negative, because there's some bidders out there that are buyers or sellers that are screwing up all the time, and nobody's leaving negative feedback, and you can't tell. It's important. I mean, nobody likes to get negative feedback. I'm sorry, but then if you only have one, you can see maybe there was just a one-time thing, but some people, 4, 5, 7, 10, 20 negative feedback. I don't want to deal with a buyer or seller that has a lot of negative feedback. So I take the time to feedback for everybody.
Oh, sorry. Gray Man says he wants to know what your EB channel is because he says there'll be no competition. Everybody else is blocked.
That may be the case, but I'll tell you, I have a lot of repeat customers that really like the way I ship, that really trust the items that I sell, and so I'd rather.
Sorry, Gray Man, you have competition. You have competition.
Well, wait. As far as he knows, because anyone who leaves negative feedback is blocked. So if he even thinks about it, they're out of there.
Oh man,
I take my buying and selling on eBay very seriously.
You think?
Yeah.
You're so demure about it. I didn't know.
Well, and a lot of it gets me fired up because I have sales that I put books up timed with things I want to use that money for in auctions. And, I'll leave a little gap. But if I have an auction ending for $1,000 book and there's an auction I want to buy something in 3 days or 4 days after that, I'm not waiting 3 or 4 days because I want to use that money in something else that's ending soon after that. So,
man,
that's fun.
It has implications with
more power to
collecting.
Wow. Yeah, DS. I mean, you're old school, buddy.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take that as a compliment.
If I'm going to buy, you're the guy I want to buy from, of course. Yeah. But if I'm going to buy, if I'm going to buy and sort of be hedging about it, just look somewhere else.
Yeah.
Look somewhere else. Because DS is not the eBay buyer for you. Seller. But that's you don't want people like you don't want like the people that I put up with sometimes, that can I pay in 3 days? That's when my check's coming in and the auction ended 3 days before, okay.
Well, I mean, most of them probably end up paying, but I mean, you can have all those buyers, Roger. You can have them.
Yeah.
They're all yours.
Well, hopefully
they have lots of money. They ultimately pay.
Extended weekend discount. Yeah.
Hopefully they'll buy my ghostwriters and that way I can have a cheaper ghostwriter one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I have a seller that I buy from pretty regularly. We've worked out something of a system. And he fussed at me for paying too promptly because he only ships out like
that's happened to me too.
Yeah. He only ships out like once a week. And he's like, no, you're hurting my rating because you're paying right away. And it looks like it's taking me 6 days to ship it. And I said, it is taking you 6 days to ship it.
Exactly.
What are you talking about? To me, it's like when you go to McDonald's and they have the little clock ticking away for their service time. And they're like, do us a favor. We're going to reset the clock. Would you mind pulling into a spot so we can bring you half your food and no ketchup? Thanks. Like, what? You're trying to beat the system? It's your system. But anyway. Just saying.
So I tell the guy, why do you have it ending on such and such day if you're not going to ship it till a week later?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You can set it so it starts, later or earlier so that you can get it on the day or 2 days before you ship and not a whole week before. I got that same exact thing, Bob, like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and you can put yourself into vacation mode and then eBay won't penalize you for late shipment and you can maintain your guaranteed ship because eBay tracks when you ship things versus when you were paid for them. And if you do it quick enough, they will give you top-rated seller status, obviously, with positive feedbacks. But then they'll also just, by default, say that you have guaranteed delivery by such and such a date because you always seem to make that date. So you can see any of those sellers on eBay where it says guaranteed delivery by that time, like if the item ends on the 3rd of a month and they have guaranteed delivery by the 13th, that's because eBay says that they're not shipping out for 6 or 7 days. So you can tell from that it's taking a while for them to ship things. But you look at some sellers where it's like guaranteed delivery within 4 days, they're instant shippers. So you can tell from that.
Wow, I didn't know
how
that.
fast somebody ships.
Yep. Yeah, I knew that. Yep, good point. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Roger, do you have any anything on your Christmas list? I guess I'm Santa Claus, or at least I'm married to Mrs. Claus, and poor DS there, he doesn't celebrate it unless he's buying himself something. Sounds like
I'm the Grinch all the way around tonight.
He's a Grinch. He's dropping lumps of coal all over the neighborhood. What are you doing?
I'm going to give you the shorter answer here, but I do celebrate Christmas as a Christian, but I don't believe in the commercialization of it. Like modern society has done. So I'm not big on the gift part myself, receiving or giving, but I want to tell everybody to tune in on Wednesday when I do my contest roundup.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have a major announcement, which has to do why we're not going to be having Christmas gifts this year.
Okay.
And it's not bad or anything like that, but it's something that it's going to be different for our family. So tune in on Wednesday for my contest roundup. Everybody who's out there in the chat, don't want to miss it. And that's going to answer a little bit about why we're not going to be doing much for Christmas this year.
All right. Well, that sounds good. I appreciate you giving us the early warning on that, so we can be on the lookout for that. And I just want to tell both of you that the next time I send you an email with a topic that neither of you have an answer for, email me back. Just tell me, you know,
where's the fun in that?
I ain't got nothing on this one.
I just figured if you put a topic in there, there must be something about it you want to talk about. So I just,
yeah, we're just along for the ride here, Bub. You're driving this bus. We're just passengers.
My microphone's gonna work half the time, so it can't be all of me talking. That's for sure.
we rely on your wisdom and your genius to guide us through the path of comicdom. We are just along for the ride.
Oh, you're so sweet, Roger. What more could I ask for than two good friends such as you? So that's what I'm going to ask for. Two good friends. You guys are killing me. All right, everybody. I think that's enough for the No Faces chat. Don't forget, DS, that you do need to hang around after we end the show for a quick update on a couple of things. We'll keep the meeting short. But thank you all in the chat. You've all been great, super active tonight. Really enjoyed all the conversation. And thanks, of course, as always, to DS Comics. DS, are you going to give your signature sign off this time? Are you going to give us the do your homework, please, would you?
Yes, thanks to everybody for being here, and make sure everybody does their homework.
Oh, nice. And Roger, what's your sign off?
Be blessed and be back, everybody.
I love it. And thank you all, and read a comic. We'll see you next week. Bye.